Hey, Johnny, come to the bonfire next week. Awesome. Johnny was invited to one of the popular kids' bonfires, and this was a big moment for him. He was hyped. He decided he wanted to be the bonfire guitar guy. You know, the guy that would sit by the fire and play songs and everyone tells him how cool he is. So he buys a guitar with money from his first job. He spends that entire week practicing. Okay. Huh. Not too bad. They're gonna love this. Fingers shredding, watching tutorials. He's pretty decent. Kind of a natural. And finally, it's the big bonfire night. Like 20 kids there. They're all sitting around. Johnny brought his guitar. He sees his opportunity. Hey, you guys mind if I play a song for you? All right, man. Yeah, go for it. Okay, Johnny. Yeah, play us a song. So he starts playing, and he's actually killing it. Whoa, he's pretty good. Yeah, he is. People are impressed. Then he gets a little too confident. He starts going a little crazier. Fully dramatic rock star mode when all of a sudden, snap! One of the strings breaks and flies up and whips him right in the eye. And in a pure moment of panic, he just throws the guitar off him. Everyone goes silent. Johnny gets his composure. He realizes there's way too many people here for him to be freaking out. He's gonna look like a loser. But when he opens his eyes, he realizes he threw his guitar into the bonfire. And now the guitar is burning like firewood. No one said a word for about 30 minutes. They just sat around that fire warming themselves up with Johnny's guitar he bought to impress everybody. He never lived that down, and he wasted $200 on that guitar. That's nuts.
Hey, Mrs. Stevens, Johnny's my best friend. Yay.
No, the heck he's not. This school had one of the weirdest rules ever. Nobody's allowed to have a best friend. I mean, I guess it wasn't officially, but every single time, if two kids got too close, teacher would step in and separate them. At first, nobody notices the pattern, but if a teacher sees these two students sitting by each other every day, you, come here.
What'd I do?
You're not sitting by Johnny anymore. Their desks get moved. The kids are laughing together too much. I think you two need some space. And everyone's like, why does this keep happening? But it gets worse. I guess teachers start clocking who is friends with who. And during recess, they send them out separately. Okay, Billy, you go first, okay? You stay here. Not until Billy's done. You guys are not hanging out together. Teachers are trying to stop kids from getting too attached. This was their logic. If kids had a close friend, they wouldn't socialize with other people. So instead of letting friendships happen naturally, they treated it like a freaking problem. To me, it's messed up. He was a kid. His mom dragged him to the nearest 7-Eleven. I don't want to go. Well, that's too bad. Well, they get there. She goes in the store, but he waits outside. He then sees this older, strange-looking guy sitting against a wall. Hey, you want to see something cool? And he's a kid, so he said yes. Of course he wants to see something cool, which you should never do. The man then smiles, and then pulls off a prosthetic leg and showed this kid his leg stump. Look at this. The leg stump had a very weird smiley face drawn on it in Sharpie. The kid absolutely freaks out. That's not cool. The man then panics because I guess he had good intentions. Oh, no, wait, look, it's actually cool, look. The kid's now ugly crying. The mom runs out of the store. What's going on?
His leg.
The man's embarrassed. The mom's freaking out at him. I don't know why he showed the kid his leg stump anyway, but she went home with her kid. And years later, when he sees a 7-Eleven, he freaks out a little bit still. Dad, I hit 1,000 subscribers. That's nice, son. This kid was grinding on YouTube, and he's excited. A couple months later, Dad, I have 10,000 subscribers. Whoa, you're really putting in some work. And then, oh my God, 20,000 subscribers. Congrats, buddy. Fast forward a couple weeks, the school calls the dad. Hi, hello there. This is the middle school. Your son hasn't been in school for 3 days. What? He is ticked off. The son comes in later. Hey, what's up, Pops? Where were you? I was at school. No, you weren't. Yes, I was. Give me your phone. Go to your room. He goes to his room and slams the door. Well, that was the last straw for his dad. The dad sits there for a second, fuming. His son's laptop is in the living room, and it's open and unlocked. So he goes in there. He goes to the YouTube channel, and he deletes permanently the entire YouTube channel his son has been working on. He then goes to his son's room and knocks. What? I deleted your YouTube channel, by the way. That should teach you a major lesson. You're kidding. I'm not. Oh my God, you're the worst dad ever. I hate you. Full-blown meltdown. This kid is losing it. He's crying. The dad thinks, good. This is a lesson for him. Then later, something feels off to him, so he calls the school. Hey, yeah, I just wanted to touch base about my son's absences. You guys called me letting me know he missed the past 3 days of school, but the secretary's like, we didn't call you, sir, and your son's been here all week. He's got perfect attendance. What? That can't be true. So now he's scrolling the call log. The number that called him wasn't the school's number. And that's when everything unfolds. A couple of kids called him as a prank. His son was at school and he deleted his YouTube channel for nothing. But now he can't take it back. And his son didn't talk to him for months. The second he turned 18, he moved out. This kid tried to outsmart the dress code. He was in 7th grade and his school had one of those weird rules. Your bangs couldn't go past your eyebrows. That was the line, just the eyebrows. So one day a teacher pulls him aside. Hey, come here.
Yeah?
Get a haircut by tomorrow or there will be consequences. Usually a kid would then have their parents trim their hair. But not this guy. He went home angry. I'm going home and I'm angry. And he starts thinking like a lawyer. Hair can't go past your eyebrows. Then it hits him. If I don't have eyebrows, then there's nothing for the hair to go past. He felt like a genius. So that night, he took a razor and he shaved his eyebrows clean off. Shows up to school the next morning proud. Same teacher sees him. What did I tell you about your hair? Come here. Well, miss, I'm actually fine now. Not breaking any rules because I don't have eyebrows anymore. She was not impressed, and he still got into trouble and still had to trim his hair. But hey, nice try. Every school has that one kid who is super talented at something random. At this one school, his name was Marcus, and he was amazing at flipping water bottles, but not the normal way. He was able to flip these water bottles and have them land on their cap on crazy surfaces, like the edge of a chalkboard. Watch this. Nice. He made it look so effortless that this one kid in his class wanted to try it for himself. It was study hall, very quiet, and he's sitting there. He's got a half-empty Gatorade bottle, and he's thinking to himself, this is my chance. I'm gonna flip this bottle, land it on its cap on the teacher's desk. You see, Marcus was in this study hall as well. Well, this kid went for it, gave it a flip. Marcus is gonna be so impressed. Here we go. It was like slow motion. Flip, flip, flip. But suddenly, the cap fell off. He didn't tighten it enough. And this Gatorade spills all over the teacher's desk.
What the heck is your problem?
He panicked. Marcus did it. Marcus said, but no, I didn't, bro. The teacher said, yeah, I don't believe that. Marcus is a god at flipping bottles. Teacher knew how good Marcus was. He didn't believe this kid for a second. I'll take myself to the office. Yeah, that's a good idea. Tough break. This is what happens when your math teacher sucks. This guy's kid is in 4th grade, and she's been having trouble in math. The whole year, she struggled, but when they got to multiplication and division, she struggled even more. I just don't understand it, Dad. I know, let's just try it again. The thing is, she just doesn't understand the method they're teaching, and it doesn't sound easy. So for multiplying, it's a bunch of steps. You break up the numbers, you draw boxes, then you multiply and then add them together. Something like that. And she gets these problems wrong like 90% of the time. So the dad's like, you know what? I'm gonna teach you the way that I learned how to do multiplication. She's like, okay. And guess what? Oh, Dad, I understand it. She under-frickin-stands it. Homework is a million times easier now because she learned it and she's actually solving the problems. Well, here's the issue. His daughter had a math test a few weeks ago, and she came home very upset.
Dad, I failed.
What? Let me see your test. She got a 50%, even though she only got 2 problems wrong. Technically, it should have been a 92%. So he goes into school and he has a conversation with the teacher. Can you explain why my daughter failed? The teacher says, yes, it's because she didn't use the method that I taught in this class. Excuse me? The dad pointed out that the test just says to show you work. It doesn't say to use a specific method. But she said, well, that's too bad. I taught my method to these students for a reason. Your daughter didn't use it. So she fails. Oh, the dad was furious. He went to the principal. He admits that he made it a pretty big deal. What are you guys teaching in the school, huh? Some bogus way to do multiplication? It's so much easier than that. Now my daughter's failing even though she got a 92% on the test. Except with a lot more yelling. The principal called the teacher in and forced her to change the girl's grade to an A. The principal then apologized to the dad and said,
it won't happen again.
Better not. But for real, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. In one high school, there was a science teacher who was a bit older. He was a pretty nice guy, but he sweat all the time. Is it hot in here or is it just me? I'm sweating up a storm. Well, he would do this super weird, gross thing every single day. He had this plant on his desk, and towards the end of class, every single day, he would take off his shirt in front of everybody and wring out his sweaty shirt into the plant. Sir, what are you doing? Plants need water, Kyle. What do you think I'm doing? He was eventually fired because taking your shirt off in class is frowned upon. Makes sense. Times nice people snapped. This person said that when he was in middle school, there was a kid in his class named Bob. Bob was nice. He was kind of interesting. He was scrawny. He looked very small. And the gym teacher was a very, very mean man. And every day in gym class, he would make fun of Bob, ruthlessly. Well, one day, the gym teacher said something bad about Bob's mom. Well, Bob's mom had some conditions that made her weak and unhealthy. Not by her choice. She was sick. That's when Bob snapped. Something came over him. and scrawny Bob lunged for the 6'5" gym teacher and started beating his ass. And in that moment, the gym teacher looked like he stood no chance. Bob was going crazy on him. They were eventually split up, and Bob was expelled. But the gym teacher was fired for being a jerk and for fighting a student. This kid is an absolute legend. When this kid was growing up, he had somehow grown a tail. Well, by the time he was in 6th grade, he had to get it surgically removed. The surgery was a success, but he had stitches where the tail had to be removed. He was given a doctor's note to bring to class, to let his teachers know that he was supposed to sit on a soft cushion, because stitches. Well, one of his teachers wasn't having it. Hey, no, you can't sit on that unless you have a cushion for everyone in this class. But sir, I have a doctor's note. I don't care. These chairs are way too hard. I have stitches. Listen, you rabbit's foot prick. You're gonna man up and sit down, okay? So what he did was, on purpose, he sat down on that stiff chair as hard as he possibly could. So hard that his stitches tore, and he started bleeding all over the place. Go to the principal's office right now. When he got there, he told the principal what happened, and the principal was on his side. However, the worst part about this was the teacher didn't get in trouble at all. He was a kid. His mom dragged him to the nearest 7-Eleven.
I don't want to go. Well, that's too bad.
Well, they get there. She goes in the store, but he waits outside. He then sees this older, strange-looking guy sitting against a wall. Hey, want to see something cool? And he's a kid, so he said yes. Of course he wants to see something cool, which you should never do. The man then smiles, and then pulls off a prosthetic leg and showed this kid his leg stump. Look at this. The leg stump had a very weird smiley face drawn on it in Sharpie. The kid absolutely freaks out.
That's not cool.
The man then panics because I guess he had good intentions. Oh, no, wait, look, it's actually cool, look. The kid's now ugly crying, the mom runs out of the store. What's going on?
His leg.
The man's embarrassed, the mom's freaking out at him. I don't know why he showed the kid his leg stump anyway, but she went home with her kid. And years later, when he sees a 7-Eleven, he freaks out a little bit still. Hey, what's in your bag? Justice and 5 deviled eggs. So this one school had this thing where students could bring in their own snacks to eat during their mid-morning study session. It was kind of like a study hall, but everybody was in like one area, I guess. Small town school stuff, you know. It was totally chill. As long as you weren't like throwing food or making a mess, nobody cared at all. Well, one mom had a problem. A big one, apparently. Her kid came home one day and told her that somebody sitting next to her was eating tuna and crackers. And she told her mom that the smell made her lose my appetite. It was gross. Also, low-key, I freaking love tuna. I'm not gonna lie to you guys here. Okay, tuna and crackers, it slaps. Alright, if you don't like tuna, that's fine. But hating on tuna lovers? Okay, I'm done. So the mom emailed the teacher. Hi, I would like to request that no odorous or ugly snacks be permitted during the mid-morning study period. Ugly snacks? This is what she meant by ugly snacks. Tuna, hard-boiled eggs, anything pickled, sardines, olives, blue cheese, strong-smelling beef jerky. The list went on and on and on. She ended it with, let's keep the school a pleasant place for everybody. Perfect. The teacher forwarded that email to the principal. The principal ignored it at first, but the mom kept pushing. She started emailing other parents. She was asking them to talk to their kids about bringing less offensive snacks. Well, this got back to the students, and the students were done with this. They thought this mom was being crazy. That Friday, a group of 7th graders showed up with the smelliest, most ugly snacks that they could find. Sardines, canned oysters, garlic hummus. One kid brought a whole onion. They called it Stink Snack Friday. The teacher tried to shut it down, but they weren't breaking any rules. Like, it's food. The next week, even more kids joined in. One kid found a local fruit dealer and brought in a durian. A durian! And those things freaking stink! Eventually, the principal sent a message home to all the parents via email. While students are welcome to bring food from home, we are encouraging less aromatic options moving forward. We'll see. But the damage was done. The kids won, and Stink Snack Friday became a tradition. On Monday morning, Arthur Miller was a ghost. He was the kind of kid that could walk through a crowded hallway and not be seen. He was invisible, but by Friday, at 3 p.m., he was the most powerful kid in the history of the school. This wasn't a fluke and it wasn't a glow-up. What it was an experiment. A secret group of students decided to see if they could manufacture a god out of thin air. Monday was phase 1. Most people try to be seen or be popular by being loud, by being funny. But the committee, which is what we'll call the group of students, they did the opposite. They spent the day clearing paths for Arthur without saying a word. So picture this, Arthur is walking down the hallway. While the group of students, watch out, he's coming through. Hey, sorry, excuse him, he's coming through. And people were like, yo, who's that kid? Whenever Arthur walked towards a door, the committee would run and open the door before he got to it, bowing their heads as he walked through. Wait, why are they doing that? Is that kid like some sort of transfer from somewhere? Yeah, who is that kid? And the committee would just say, don't worry about it. By Tuesday, this mystery that they built up created curiosity. People were spreading rumors about this guy. They all wanted to know who he is, when in reality, he's been there the entire time. He's went to school with these people for years. They just never noticed him. Wednesday morning, the committee had reserved multiple prime spots throughout the building. They put signs that said reserved for A. They put these signs on the best seats in the cafeteria, the best treadmill in the gym. They even had people hold his place in the cafeteria line. All right, can I help you? Thanks. Yeah, I want the pizza. And the entire time, Arthur was going along with this. But he was humble. A rumor started that Arthur was the son of somebody who started a multi-billion-dollar crypto firm. Another rumor claimed that his dad was the lead developer for a game that hadn't come out yet. Now it's Thursday. And what the committee did was they hired people from the rival school to come to the basketball game that night. So when Arthur walked into the gym that night, they had these people run up to him and ask for pictures. Hey, yo, can I get a picture, please? Yeah, sure. You're awesome. I'm a big fan. Okay, thanks. And this was happening before the game even started, right down there in the middle of the gym. So everyone in the bleachers was like, yo, who is this guy? The principal was confused. He was trying to figure out why suddenly everyone was so obsessed with this guy who hadn't spoken a word in like 3 years. And because there was so much buzz around this kid on social media sites, the principal held an assembly for social media safety. But before he could even speak, Arthur walked in, and everyone suddenly was looking at him. Okay, attention, students. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Oh, Arthur, you can sit by me, man. No, you can sit by me, Arthur. Arthur, I brought you pizza. Oh, thank you. And then the entire gym started chanting, Arthur, 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 until the principal was finally like, enough! And he canceled the assembly. Everyone went back to class. Friday was the end game to see how much influence Arthur actually had. So the committee, before school, posted on every single social media website, the king wears orange today. Show your loyalty. It was a test. And by the time they got to school, 80% of students were wearing orange, just like Arthur. That day, Arthur sat down during lunch and people swarmed him. He had had enough. Okay, guys, back up. Back up, please. Please, back up. But they wouldn't leave him alone. So he just left school. Over the weekend, the committee deleted all the accounts, all the statuses. They stopped the experiments, and they just let Arthur be. They even told people that this was an experiment, that Arthur wasn't actually famous. But the thing is, Arthur would never be a ghost again. Even though this was all fake, people still loved him. So what did the experiment prove? In school, it's not about who you are. It's about who everyone thinks you are. But does that even matter? Huh, no. Not really. The arcade ticket heist. So back in middle school, this group of friends basically lived at the local arcade. Well, one afternoon, two friends are walking home, and they see the dumpster by the arcade place. Yo, dude, look. Is that what I think it is? Yeah, bro. Tickets. In the dumpster was bags of old tickets. Thousands, all tossed away. Well, that day started a routine. At the end of every week, they would check the dumpster and take all the tickets home. All right, haul it, let's go. And they would store them in one of the friends' garage. But then the arcade catches on and they start shredding tickets. All right, so that was over. But the boys escalate. They realized that towards the night, the employees were always high school kids that didn't really care about their job. Well, they're inside one night and they see something. Yo, look, it's a ring of keys. The keys that open up every single machine, hanging on a nail on the wall, guarded by two teenagers. So they had a plan. Hey, the Jurassic Park game ate my tokens. Can you guys check it out for me? You wanna go do that, Kyle? Actually, I'd go in the bathroom. Which game again? So now both employees are successfully distracted. The other kid slips behind the counter and takes the keys. But here's the thing. All right, I just gotta open this, we'll get your tokens back. Wait, where are my keys? Hold on. Uh-oh. Yo, where's the keys to the games? What's that? Oh, I don't know. But there's an extra set of keys right here. Boom. So now these two friends have keys, but there's an extra pair. So the workers didn't suspect them at all. Well, now that they have the keys, suddenly every machine in the arcade is a bank vault, ready to be emptied. And they would do this every day. Jurassic Park, they open the coin box and take all the tokens. Skee ball, they open that up and take the entire roll of tickets. Day after day, week after week, they managed to get away with taking hundreds of thousands of tickets. And then it was the big day. They load an entire van with like dozen bags of tickets and they bring it to the arcade and they haul them in there. We want to redeem these. Yeah, they definitely looked suspicious. But the worker goes, Alright, by the end, the friends walk out with a Razor scooter, every single piece of candy the place had, a full set of Nerf weapons, half the toy wall, and a Nintendo Switch. A clean sweep. A frickin' perfect score of a heist. Eventually, the actual manager of the arcade, who was never really there, found out what had happened. But they didn't know who did it because the place didn't have any cameras. And that was a legendary heist that town still talks about. That's insane. Every school had a dead zone, a room in the basement or a locked corner of the gym where chairs and desks go to die. Most people see a pile of trash, but to Mr. Henderson, it was a gold mine. The school budget for furniture was pretty much zero. If a chair leg snapped or the top of a desk cracked, it wasn't getting replaced. So for a decade, the chair graveyard grew. They see a mess, but I see a spare heart for the chair in room 203. Mr. Henderson didn't just guard the room. He was pretty much a furniture surgeon. He had a specific system. When one chair broke, he knew which piece to grab from the graveyard. He was swapping around parts like he was Frankenstein. See, this one can be saved, but this one's too far gone. Except that leg is looking pretty nice. I'll take this and I'll put it here. It's fixed. Well, the legend started when a group of 10th graders tried to steal a few chairs. So they go into this graveyard. Quick, grab one. So they tried to grab a few chairs, but this is when it happened. They pulled out one chair and the entire mountain collapsed right onto them. And Mr. Henderson was in the corner of the room watching. Well, boys. Trying to steal my stash? He obviously helped them up and gave them a few band-aids for their scrapes. And the punishment for breaking into the room and trying to steal the chairs, they had to reorganize it and stack everything back up perfectly. You gotta love Mr. Henderson. This kid got his invisibility cloak stolen. There was this one kid at this one school who wore a neon construction vest every day. It wasn't for hunting. He thought it made him invisible. One day he's walking through the hallway wearing the vest like usual, and this bigger kid just rips it off of him. Now, you see, usually most people let this kid vibe because obviously he knew it didn't make him invisible, but it made him feel better. But anyway, so it was stolen off his back, and he felt like he had been exposed to the world for the first time. He won't move, and kids are walking around him. He's legitimately stuck because in his mind, without that vest, he is visible and vulnerable. So this one janitor sees what's going on. He walks straight up to this bully. Hey! Holds out his hand. The bully tries to laugh it off, but this janitor doesn't blink. He just stares him down until the bully gives the vest back. The janitor hands it back to the kid. The kid puts it on and walks away. And just like that, he was invisible once again. Have you ever wondered how a middle school science lesson could save an entire building from exploding? This 8th grader named John was sitting in chemistry class learning about natural gas. His teacher explained that rotten egg smell isn't actually natural. They add a chemical called mercaptan so people can detect leaks. Your nose can literally smell it at 1 part per billion. Regardless, John thought this was cool. Hey, that's cool. Well, the very next day, during a science lab in a different science class, he noticed a very faint smell of rotten eggs. He raised his hand and said, Mr. Stevens, I think there might be a gas leak. Well, the teacher brushed it off and said, John, that's probably from a different experiment or you're making things up. No, I'm serious. It smells exactly like what Mr. Zern taught us yesterday. But the teacher told him just to sit down and stop disrupting class, please. So John did something bold. He walked straight to the office and he told the principal, there's a gas leak in the lab. I'm pretty positive. The principal took him very seriously and he pulled the fire alarm himself and evacuated the entire school. Turns out there was a massive gas leak in the science building. The fire department said that if anybody lit a burner, which they were going to, the whole science wing could have exploded. John literally saved the school because he remembered a lesson from the day before. And yeah, that teacher definitely apologized to him. Big time. That's insane. Most school pranks involve a mess or a splash, but the Great Invasion of 2024 was silent, and it only cost $20. It started when an 8th grader found a bulk listing of sticky googly eyes on the internet. Oh, I'm getting these. And he brought those to school, and he recruited 6th graders. I'm giving each of you 500 sticky googly eyes, and you are to put them everywhere. They were his 6th grade deployment team, and by the next day, the school had eyes everywhere. The fire extinguishers looked surprised. The water fountains were looking suspicious. Every single locker had eyes on it, watching students as they walked down the hallways. Yo, dude, there's eyes everywhere. School administration went into full-blown panic mode because it was basically an infestation. You couldn't look anywhere without seeing eyes. I want names. I want receipts. We must get to the bottom of this. But it was impossible to find out who did this. The breaking point happened on a Thursday. The lunch lady was preparing burgers for lunch. She opened up the fridge to grab the tray of patties, and what she saw, every single burger patty in that fridge had 2 eyes looking up at her. She walked out that day. The school spent weeks peeling off these eyes. Eventually, they were all gone. Well, almost. They missed one. High up on the wall in the back of the gym, right next to the school's championship banner. One last eye. Years later, they still talk about it. See that eye up there, kid? Yeah, what is it? Let's just say there was a time where everything in this school had eyes. And it was beautiful. This guy was standing in line at the grocery store. It's a normal day, and right next to him is the priority lane for elderly people and people with disabilities. So there's chairs there. This elderly couple is sitting down waiting to check out. This guy walks up, cuts right in front of him. Excuse me. Hey man, they're already in line. I don't see them standing in line. He's being real smug. And the 2 elderly people are just sitting there, very uncomfortable. Well, this guy shuts up, but he's fuming. So he looks in the guy's cart. It's a full camping setup. He must be going to camping like right now. Sleeping bag, marshmallows, instant noodles, portable stove, bacon, and 1 single can of butane gas. Well, the guy's on the phone. He's loud, completely distracted. So this guy reaches into his cart and takes the butane gas, puts it in his own cart. The dude pays for his groceries, leaves. The elderly couple finally checks out, and this guy goes home. But he's sitting there, laughing to himself, because somewhere out there a man pulled into a campsite, got unpacked, and was getting ready to make dinner, but couldn't find the gas anywhere, which would cause him to take a very lengthy drive back to the store. That is awesome. A crazy private school rule. So this private school in a small town had this rule. Nobody's allowed to have curly hair on school grounds. Which, like, what do you mean? But this is serious. One day, this new kid shows up at this school. It's his first day. And you guessed it, he has curly hair. Hey, I'm Corey. Oh, Corey, come with me. The principal takes Corey to her office. She pulls out a hair straightener from her desk, and she begins straightening Corey's hair. When I'm done with you, this hair will be straight. 10 minutes later, Corey leaves the office with a completely different hairstyle. He was incredibly confused and sad. He told his parents, and his parents were ticked off. They complained and complained and complained. But for some reason, this small town, this small school, had a lot of connections, so the rule never changed. Curly hair, not allowed. And that is completely messed up. They're going on a family trip, and their flight is at 5 in the morning. That's so early, Dad. It's just for 3 days. Pack your backpack. You'll be fine. Backpack. He nods. He packs his backpack. His parents don't check it. They assume he's got it. Well, fast forward to the next morning. They're standing in the security line. Shoes off, laptops out. The dad's stressing. I'm stressing. The kid steps up to put his backpack in the conveyor belt, and he tells the security guy, there's a surprise in there. The guy's like, excuse me, there's a surprise in there for everybody. Hey, yo, what? At this point, the security guard's like, yo, what the heck does this kid have in his backpack? They pull the kid to the side, they pull the backpack away. The mom is like, oh my God, what did you pack in there? You'll see. The security guard unzips the backpack. His face changes. Son, what did you pack? You, come here, okay? What the heck is this? Inside the backpack was dozens and dozens of rubber duckies. Tiny, bright yellow, each one wearing a different outfit. Sir, ma'am, your child packed about 200 rubber ducks. You can have one. So can your friend. Everybody can have one. Everybody around starts laughing, and the kid passes out these rubber duckies to as many people as he can. And honestly, that is super wholesome. This school library charged 50 cents per page to print. This is freaking highway robbery. Students were furious, but the school did not back down. That's when one student decided to act on this. He bought a high-speed wireless printer, shoved it in his backpack, and he set up shop at the back of the library during his free period. He created a burner email address and he told everybody, email me your essays or whatever you want to print, it's 10 cents per page. No questions asked. And business was absolutely booming. Word spread pretty quick, and his email was stocked. And he printed out every single order that came in. He was undercutting the school by 80%. He was making decent cash. He was like the freaking Wolf of Wall Street in a library. Eventually, the librarians caught on and they tried to suspend him actually. But he just said, if you suspend me, I'll make a huge deal about you guys charging 50 cents per page, and I'll take it to the freaking news. Well, they kind of panicked, and they lowered the prices back to 10 cents per page. But that kid, what a legend.
কি করবি চেনা চেহারা না হলো কি চেহারা কথা তো বেশি চেহারা ওজন বেশি
আপনি না শুই না দেখা সব জানা ফেলছেন বাবা।
রক্ত লাগবে রে
রক্ত?
আসবো না মানে?
হ্যাঁ তাই তো শুনলাম।
আসবো না, ঠিক আছে দেখতেছি ব্যাপারটা। যাও।
কিরে তুই কোচিং এ যাস না কেন?
দোস্ত আমি কোচিং এ কিভাবে যাব বল? এই গুন্ডাটা যে আমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করে, তুই দেখতেই তো পারছস, ডেইলি আমার পিছনে লাগা থাকে।
আমার ভালোবাসার গল্পটা অপূর্ণ রয়ে গেল। গলবে, পাখির মন গলবে, এমন মন্ত্র দেব।
এভাবে রাস্তাঘাটে একটা মেয়েকে উত্তক্ত করে আর নিজের গায়ে রক্ত দিয়ে
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই না তোরা?
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে, আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে।
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল না। আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর। আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসাতে, আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা, আমি শুধু ওরে পাইলে হবে।
ওকে, আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি। আচ্ছা আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন।
আমার তো অনেক ভয় লাগতেছে দোস্ত, এই যে আস্তে আস্তে সব মানুষ জানবে, তারপর আমার ফ্যামিলিকেও জানিয়ে দিবে। আর আমার
এন্ড বেস্ট অফ লাক ফর ডক্টরশিপ। আমি দোয়া করি তুমি যেন একজন ভালো ডক্টর হও।
যে ফোন আমার ছেলের লাইফস্টাইল নষ্ট করে সে ফোন আমি রাখবো না, এটাই আমার সিদ্ধান্ত বাবা। তোমাকে এবার আমাদের মতো করে চলতে হবে, ইউটিউবের ভিউ দিয়ে আমাদের খেতে হবে না।
সো আমি যার সাথে দেখা করতে যাচ্ছি সে যদি স্ট্রেট ফরওয়ার্ড না হয় তাহলে তার খবরই আছে।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ভাই, আমি যাচ্ছি, এদেরকে ছাড়েন, আমি উঠতেছি। ভাই আমার ভক্তকুল কিন্তু আপনার থানা ঘেরাও করে ফেলবে। ওকে, নো ওয়ারিজ, আমি আবার এসব বিষয়ে অনেক উদার। চলো
ওকে, লেটস ডু ইট টুগেদার।
বাই, টাটা।
পেয়ে গেলাম মানে এই যে আমরা একজন একজনের সামনাসামনি চোখাচোখি মুখোমুখি, আমি তোমাকে ধরতে পারতেছি, ফিল করতে পারছি।
ও ভাইয়া, প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল।
ও প্র্যাঙ্ক, ওকে ওকে, চালিয়ে যান, ক্যারি অন।
রাদীপ শুনো,
মাঝখানে ফোকাস ছিল না, ডিফোকাস হয়ে গেছে, এই সেই। তুই এটা কোন লেন্স ইউজ করিস?
টেলিলেন্স।
কত?
ওই যে 50-50।
শোনো আমি বলছি পসিবল, নাহলে কিন্তু এই যে গরম কফি গায়ে ঢেকে দেবো। বলো পসিবল?
ওকে ফাইন, পসিবল।
এই মেয়ে লোকটাকে তুই বিয়ে করতে পারবি?
টিন্ডার থেকে তুমি এর আগে আর কারোর সাথে কফি ডেট করেছো আমি ছাড়া?
হোয়াট? আমাকে কি দেখে মনে হয় চিপ? আমি এক্সক্লুসিভ ভার্সন, ওকে? আই এম নট অ্যাভেলেবল। কি ছিল? কি ছিল?
প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল, বিশ্বাস হচ্ছে না? এই যে
Prank
আই
ছিল।
সুইট এই সুইট, ওই যে দেখেন মনোপড নিয়ে দাঁড়ায় আছে, এই যে আরেকজন ইফতে। এই শিখেছি ধরে 50 কি টেলিলেন্স নাকি? 85 ইউজ করবি, দরকার পড়লে তোর আমি 70-200 কিনা দিব।
তুই টেনশন করিস না, হ্যাঁ?
কোনো চোর না, চুরি না, ডাকাতি না, এটা প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল, টোটালি প্র্যাঙ্ক। প্র্যাঙ্ক শিখাইছে উস্তাদ। কেমন হলো প্র্যাঙ্ক?
আমার কাছে জিনের বাচ্চার নাম্বার আছে। জিনের বাচ্চা চাস নাকি ইটিস পিটিস করতে চাস? হ্যালো বন্ধু, আমার রোদে দিছস? এই তো দিছি তো, ঠিক মতো রোদে দিছস?
কি শুনতে চান? আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি।
ভালোবাসা যে এত প্যারা, এত কষ্ট, এত জ্বালা যন্ত্রণা, জানলে ভালোই বাসতাম। জিসান আর তুলির ভালোবাসার ইতিহাস তাই রক্ত লাগবে।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম দুলা ভাই।
আরে শালা, ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি খবর, কেমন আছো? গলায় দড়ি লাগাই দিছে ভাবি।
গলায় দড়ি দিছি মানে গলায় 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 কেন রেখেছেন আমাকে? কি হয়েছে বলতো?
আর বলিস না, তোরে যে বুকিং দিছে সে তো এখন আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
জিসান, আমার দরজা লাগাই দিছে। আমার দরজা লাগাই দিছে। কই যায়? কই যা? ফোন দিয়ে যেতেছি, তুমি ফোনই ধরো না। তোমার ফোন ধরার কোনো নামই নাই, কোনো কথা। তোমার ফোন ধরো না কেন?
এবারে এক্সামের প্রিপারেশন কিরকম তোদের? আমি তো খুবই এক্সাইটেড, কারণ আমার প্রিপারেশন খুবই ভালো।
জিসান দরজা খোল। কি বুঝতেছি না।